Money. It can either be your greatest tool or your worst nightmare. Let me ask you this. Are you unknowingly sabotaging your financial future with simple mistakes? Here's the harsh reality. Many people in their 20s and 30s unknowingly dig themselves into financial holes that take years to climb out of. And the worst part? These mistakes are completely avoidable. But don't worry, today, we're tackling this head-on. I'll reveal the top 5 money mistakes you must avoid if you want to live a wealthy, stress-free life. Stay with me till the end, because mistake number 5 is something even the savviest people get wrong, and it could cost you your dreams. Ready to take control of your financial destiny? Let's dive in. All right, let's talk about mistake number 1, living paycheck to paycheck. This is a common issue that many people face, and it can feel like an endless cycle. Now, this is more than just a financial problem. It's a trap. It's a situation where you're constantly worried about making ends meet, and it can be incredibly stressful. It's like running on a treadmill, exhausting yourself but never moving forward. You're putting in all this effort, but you're not getting anywhere. And the scary part is, almost 60% of Americans live this way. That's a significant portion of the population, and it's a clear indication that this is a widespread issue. Why? Because they don't have a plan. Without a plan, it's easy to get lost and end up in this cycle. It's like going grocery shopping without a list. You end up with snacks, no meals, and zero savings. You're not making intentional choices with your money. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Graham, I barely make enough to cover my bills. How am I supposed to save? It seems impossible, right? Trust me, I've been there. I know how it feels to be in that position, and it's not easy. But breaking free from this cycle starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your spending habits and where your money is going. For the next month, I challenge you to track every single dollar you spend. This will give you a clear picture of your financial situation. Use a budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or even just a notebook, whatever works for you. The important thing is to be consistent and honest with yourself. Once you see where your money is actually going, you can start making small changes that make a big difference. It's about making intentional choices. Instead of eating out every day, try cooking at home a few times a week. Not only is it healthier, but it's also more cost-effective. Cut back on unnecessary subscriptions you're not really using. These small expenses can add up over time. And here's a big one. Create a budget that allocates even a small amount, even $20 or $50, towards savings each month. It's about building the habit of saving. Remember, it's not about deprivation. It's about prioritizing your future self. You're investing in your own future. Once you escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, you'll see how much power you gain. You'll have more control over your life and your future. But that brings us to our next mistake, letting debt control your life. Debt can be a huge burden, but there are ways to manage it effectively. Okay, mistake number 2 is a big one. Accumulating high-interest debt. This is a trap that many people fall into without even realizing it. Now, debt in itself isn't always bad. Sometimes you need it to invest in your future, like getting a degree or buying a house. These are considered good debts because they can lead to long-term benefits. But high-interest debt, like credit card balances, that's the kind of debt that can keep you stuck for years. It's like a financial ball and chain that drags you down. Think of it like quicksand. It starts small but pulls you deeper over time. The more you struggle, the harder it becomes to get out. Let me give you an example. If you owe $5,000 on a credit card with a 20% interest rate and only make minimum payments, it could take you decades to pay off. And during that time, you could end up paying thousands of dollars in interest alone. And all that time, you're losing money to interest charges. Money that could have been used for savings, investments, or other important expenses. Does that $200 shopping spree still feel worth it? Probably not, when you consider the long-term financial impact. The key here is to prioritize paying off high-interest debt as quickly as possible. This should be your top financial priority. There are 2 popular methods for this, the avalanche and the snowball. Each has its own advantages and can be effective depending on your situation. The avalanche method focuses on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first, while making minimum payments on your other debts. This method saves you the most money on interest charges over time. It's a logical approach that minimizes the total amount you'll pay. The snowball method, on the other hand, focuses on paying off the smallest debt first, regardless of interest rate. This can give you a psychological boost and motivate you to keep going. This can give you a psychological boost and motivate you to keep going. The sense of accomplishment from clearing smaller debts can be very encouraging. Whichever method you choose, the most important thing is to have a plan and stick to it. Consistency and discipline are key to becoming debt-free. And remember, the best way to avoid high-interest debt is to live within your means and avoid unnecessary purchases. Budgeting and mindful spending can prevent future financial stress. But even if you manage debt well, there's another mistake that can silently sabotage your wealth. It's crucial to be aware of all potential financial pitfalls. Let's talk about that next. Stay tuned. Chapter 3. The power of compound interest. Alright, mistake number 3 is a missed opportunity that a lot of people make, not investing early. This is a common pitfall that can have long-term consequences on your financial health. Look, investing is one of the most powerful tools you have to build wealth over time. It's not just for the wealthy, it's for anyone who wants to secure their financial future. And the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow through the magic of compound interest. This means your money earns money, and then that money earns even more money. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Graham, investing is for rich people, right? It's a common misconception that needs to be debunked. Wrong! You don't need to be a millionaire to start investing. In fact, you can begin with a very small amount. In fact, you can start with as little as $5. Yes, just $5 can set you on the path to financial growth. The key is to start early and let compound interest do its work. The earlier you start, the more you benefit from the exponential growth. Compound interest is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it picks up more snow, it gets bigger and bigger over time. This analogy perfectly illustrates how your investments can grow. Let me give you an example. This will help you understand the real impact of starting early. Let's say you invest $200 a month starting at age 25, and you earn an average annual return of 7%. This consistent investment can lead to substantial growth. By the time you retire at age 65, you could have over $500,000. That's a significant amount of money that can provide financial security in your retirement years. But what if you wait until you're 35 to start investing the same amount? The delay can have a dramatic impact on your financial outcome. You'd have less than half of that, around $200,000. This stark difference highlights the importance of starting early. That's the power of compound interest. It's a simple yet incredibly effective way to grow your wealth. Now, I know investing can seem intimidating at first, but it doesn't have to be. With the right knowledge and resources, anyone can start investing. There are plenty of resources available to help you get started, including my other videos where I break down different investment strategies. These resources can guide you through the process step by step. Remember, the best time to invest was yesterday. This saying emphasizes the importance of not delaying your investment journey. The second best time is today. Don't wait any longer to start building your financial future. Don't miss out on the opportunity to grow your wealth over time. Start now and let compound interest work its magic for you. Chapter 4, Your Financial Safety Net. Alright, let's talk about mistake number 4, ignoring emergency savings. Life is unpredictable, right? Cars break down, medical emergencies happen, and sometimes you lose your job. It's just part of life. But without an emergency fund, these unexpected events can derail your finances and send you spiraling into debt. Think of your emergency fund as your financial parachute. You hope you'll never need it, but you're sure glad it's there if you do. It's your safety net, your peace of mind. Now, how much should you have in your emergency fund? A good rule of thumb is to have at least 3 to 6 months worth of essential expenses saved up. This includes things like your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, and transportation. If you're self-employed or have a variable income, you might want to aim for 6 to 12 months worth of expenses. Where should you keep your emergency fund? You want to keep it in a separate, easily accessible account, like a high-yield savings account or a money market account. Remember, your emergency fund is not for investing or for buying that new gadget you've had your eye on. It's there for true emergencies only. Building an emergency fund takes time and discipline, but it's one of the most important things you can do to protect yourself financially. Chapter 5. Don't live for today, plan for tomorrow. Alright, we've arrived at mistake number 5, and this one's a bit more subtle but equally important: neglecting long-term goals. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, right? Paying bills, going to work, maybe treating yourself to something nice every now and then. But if you're not careful, you can go years without thinking about your long-term financial goals. What are your dreams? Do you want to retire early, buy a house, travel the world? These are all amazing goals, but they require planning and saving. Neglecting your long-term goals can lead to regrets later in life. You might find yourself wishing you had started saving earlier or made different financial decisions. So how do you avoid this mistake? It starts with identifying your goals. What do you want to achieve in the next 5, 10, 20 years? Once you know what you're working towards, you can start creating a plan to get there. This might involve setting up a retirement account, saving for a down payment on a house, or investing in your education or business. Remember, it's not about depriving yourself of all the joys in life. It's about finding a balance between enjoying the present and planning for the future. Making wise financial decisions doesn't mean being perfect. It means being intentional. By avoiding these 5 mistakes, you'll not only save yourself stress, but also build the foundation for a wealthy, fulfilling life. Now here's your next step. Watch my video on 5 simple steps to build an emergency fund. It's the perfect companion to today's tips. Click the link on the screen or in the description below to keep your momentum going. And remember, every smart decision you make today brings you one step closer to financial freedom. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join our growing community of wealth builders. See you in the next video.